Hello and welcome to Critical Rollback,
where we are a party full of flight risks.
Are we?
No, but it wasn't my best work, but honestly my brain's a little fried right now, and the only thing I can think of is like flight risk. Flight risk. Say something about flight risk.
Sure, okay, whatever. My name is Jana.
Hi, I'm Bal.
And we're here to discuss episode 24 of Critical Role Campaign 1, The Feast.
The Feast.
Which is a remarkably short part of this episode, actually.
Yeah, this episode's like an hour of The Feast and 3 hours of faffing about. And
stuff.
Maybe half an hour.
Lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of stuff.
We'll get over this.
Yes.
This is also the first real episode we record this year. We are recording on January 22nd, 2023.
Yes, we are. This is, if you are in any way conscious of Critical Role, you are aware that Season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina has dropped. Well, the first 3 episodes have dropped. We still don't know what's up with the Feywild arc, which I'm just on tenterhooks about.
Yeah, neither of us have watched it yet, right?
No, I haven't. You haven't.
Yeah, I couldn't. I had, family stuff to deal with, and Bal refused to watch without me, and then we kind of couldn't make this work all weekend, and the fact that we're recording right now is a bit of a miracle anyways.
Yeah, I had a migraine this morning, and I'm still kind of recovering. I think I'm doing better now that I've talked a little bit, but,
yeah.
If I sound kind
and
of sluggish...
I've become a functioning member of society and have a day job now.
Yes, you have a day job and family issues and I don't know, probably a retirement fund.
I've had the retirement fund for ages and it finally stopped ghosting me, by the way.
You're just texting your retirement fund and it's like, new phone, who dis?
I kinda texted my health insurance company so they text my retirement fund for me.
So you have to call your health insurance and they'll, reach out to your retirement fund with their exes and they don't really want to talk about it.
The thing is, I've been working for a health insurance company for a week now, and I had to take 1 day off already because of family stuff. And it actually sounds very plausible to me.
Yes. It's very fun that you work in a health insurance company as someone who has, no experience with health insurance, and I work in a pathology lab having no experience with pathology.
Yeah, they hired me as, a person to be, a lawyer in the room, and, but for some reason, somehow, these people, without having studied the law at all, have been the ones dealing with lawsuits over hospital funding issues. Well, the hospital sues them for paying stuff and back and forth and whatever. Nobody of them has a law degree, and I'm not entirely sure whether any one of them has ever heard of the law at all. It's we haven't talked about this because my job is hard to translate and also highly confidential, but
Yes, my job is easy to translate, but also highly confidential because of patient confidentiality.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's weird how we both ended up with technically medical jobs, despite us not having literally anything to do with medical stuff.
Literally nothing. Nothing at all. Anyway, so much about us. We don't even have to, last time we recorded, we were do we have to talk about the OGL stuff? Do we? Do we not? We do not. Apparently that's getting resolved, and it's what was leaked beforehand was more of a look how bad it could be sort of deal, and now they are weakening that. I don't know copyright law.
I don't know copyright law either, but it seems like hitting them in the wallet has worked quite a bit. Indeed.
Hitting them in the wallet and bringing up that, the last time they did something we don't like, everyone went from ignored D&D 4th edition and went to Pathfinder, and oh look, Pathfinder has just brought out another system.
Yeah.
It's where my D&D group is going, apparently.
This is a reminder that, doing a big stink whenever a company does something bad actually works some of the time. Not always, but a lot.
Canceling those D&D Beyond subscriptions people apparently had worked, apparently.
Yeah, canceling the subscriptions, making a big stink, talking about moving to another company. Like, these things work, apparently.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I will just say that it is an absolute certainty that Critical Role has a special relationship with Wizards of the Coast. Not only are they sponsored by D&D Beyond, they also published books together and stuff. And it's also safe to say that Wizards of the Coast needs Critical Role more than Critical Role needs Wizards of the Coast, but that's neither here nor there. Absolutely. They would not be on the map. D&D 5e would not be as big as it got without Critical Role, The Adventure Zone, Roll20, all of these content creators that kind of taught the rules to us by osmosis.
It's questionable about how much the Adventure Zone taught the rules, but yes, definitely Roll20
yeah. The Adventure Zone pretended to teach us something, I suppose. I never listened. I just saw all the fans bleed over into Critical Role 2 and was like, oops, yeah,
Yeah.
And then suddenly you had to go around...
Genuinely, I say this with no shade whatsoever, I listened to the Adventure Zone balance, and I thought, this is fine. This is fun, but I don't necessarily understand why this has such a big fandom that it does.
I just legitimately don't understand the appeal of the people playing it. I don't.
I like the McElroys, and I still was like,
no shade
fine.
If you do, and I'm sure they're all lovely people, but like...
I'm making kind of a wiggly hand as someone who is a fan of the McElroys. Kind of just they're fine.
I mean, I can't get over the fact that they're called the McElroys, not the McElroys.
I know, but that's just how they pronounce their stupid fucking name, but what do I know?
Anyway, so, yeah. So Critical Role released a statement where they were like, we stand behind creators and we are kind of third-party producers too, and let's be real, out of all third-party producers, how many companies do you think actually make more than $750,000
like
of
0.01%
third-party content?
Like 0.01%.
Critical Role, maybe Roll20, maybe other big podcasts I don't remember. So
like
I'm pretty sure they would have a special
Daddies
agreement, but they would also be hit the most.
I don't even know if Hello from the Magic Tavern is Dungeons and Dragons.
Whatever. And also there's like non-disparagement clauses. I had a moment about this on Twitter because so Critical Role released a statement saying basically nothing, but that they released a statement that said nothing, kind of said everything. But you can't just... The thing is, when you sign a contract with someone that has a non-disparagement clause, you can't just go around saying, we would love to comment on this issue, but our non-disparagement clause prevents us from doing so.
Because no, that is in and of itself disparagement.
Yes, then you will have indirectly disparaged them in violation of the clause. And if it takes you and me and everyone else 5 seconds to think of this clever way to work around the non-disparagement clause, you can be damn fucking sure that 100,000 lawyers before you have absolutely thought of this and made sure that no non-disparagement clause ever has this particular loophole.
Yeah, think
that's
about
what
how,
we're there for.
Lawyers effectively have degrees in loophole finding and loophole fixing. You have not thought about loopholes as much as the average lawyer has ever had. You've probably not thought about loopholes as much as the average lawyer has while on the job, while on the transport to work.
Yeah, I have a Twitter thread about this where I make fun of a German politician who tried to cleverly go around a non-discrimination clause against other member states of the EU by being like, oh yeah, everybody's going to have to pay this fee, but Germans are going to get paid back with lowering the taxes, which is so fucking stupid.
So stupid.
It's so fucking stupid. Not how any of this works, and it cost us 11 billion.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
And this man is still, in politics. He is still tolerated in polite society. And everyone who is someone who has ever heard anything about European law I have ever met has been in agreement about this and has, a similar emotional response to this as I do. And I've never seen this many people with a law degree or working towards one agree on something.
Wow.
It is impossible to get more than 3 people with a law degree to agree on anything, but this man managed it, and it costs us 11 billion just in court fees.
Just in court fees, fuck.
Yeah, it turns out going through the EU constitutional courts, not constitution, but like the EU Supreme Court basically, is kind of expensive.
Kind of pricey.
I'm not sure whether it might have just been 11 million in court fees.
You have to get a lot of people from across borders into one place.
Haha, something. It might just be that it's 11 million but there's also like the contracts he signed actually had a clause in the case that the European Supreme Court says this doesn't work. You will have to pay probably like 11 billion because that's the number I have in my brain in reparations for this contract not going through, and like, fuck everyone involved in this.
Yeah. But we should probably start talking about the feast.
Yes, we should probably talk about this actual episode and not have me go off on legal tangents. Right. Now we do the content warnings. Content warnings. I'd love to clap, but I'm holding the mic in my hands.
Hello there. Welcome to the content and spoiler warnings. It's been a little bit since I got the chance to talk to you, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little rusty. Starting off with the content warnings, we have damage to body parts, potentially the loss of body parts, fantasy racism, specifically towards gnomes if that matters at all, torture, that is to say mention of torture, some discussion of torture, and the possibility of sexual assault, though we don't talk about that in great detail. We also have interweb use. And I believe that's all. As for the spoiler warnings, we talk a little bit about Campaign 3, though not in great detail. And we do discuss a little bit about the end of The Martian, both the movie and the book. As of this episode, Orion Akava will only be on Critical Role for 3 more episodes. We're so close, guys. Thank you guys very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye!
Out of Game Tidbits.
Out of Game Tidbits.
Matt's introduction is almost the one that has stuck. There's no sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're just nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. He's getting there. He's crawling onto dry land.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're figuring it out. Taliesin Jaffe has blue hair right now, which I really like. I really like his blue hair.
Wasn't it purple?
It's purple. Yeah, it's purple. You're right. Because at some point, he talks about how his hair used to be different.
It's different, and then Laura says, less purple.
It's like, yeah, less purple. But yeah, his hair looks really nice. I like it. I like his bisexual pride.
Speaking of Laura, she's wearing like a shirt that looks like it was like Twilight designed or something.
Yes, yes, it is.
Boring you?
No, I'm just tired because I'm still on drugs.
Okay.
Speaking of drugs,
the shirt reads "Stay weird," and it's like Twilight font. I don't know how to say. It gave me Twilight vibes. I don't know why. It's a good shirt. It shows up from shoulders.
I know what you mean. It's definitely Twilight vibes. There's a Hasbro game design contest, which was extremely timely.
Extremely timely to us right now. Speaking of timely, this episode aired on September 17th, 2015. So we were approaching. Christ. I hope we keep up a pace that we will never be 8 years removed from the source material.
I really hope so, because we're getting close. But yeah,
we have a 9-month window.
It is shocking to me how close pretty soon, and I know 3 years does not sound like a short amount of time, but pretty soon we'll get to the 10th anniversary, and that scares the shit out of me.
Jesus fucking Christ, what happened? Time is a myth. Stuff that happened to me 7 years ago is still extremely present, but stuff that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years is like, whatever.
Whatever. It's been 2020 since 2020.
Yeah.
Christmas is only going to be once a month. Don't worry. Like,
yeah, because there was apparently an issue with people having to stay too late and being underpaid, which, like, sounds like less of an issue with Christmas and more of an issue with management, but hey!
It's also very funny to hear about them talking about how, like, they thought about getting rid of Christmas, and they had such an uproar that they're like, okay, we'll keep Christmas. And, like, speaking from the present where we don't have Christmas anymore. Which, like, I'm not gonna bitch about. I love Christmas and I wish we still had it, but, like, I understand why they had it.
Yeah, there's just, like, you, like, reach a point where you have too many people sending in too many things and there's, like, this pressure, which is why I also think it's good they do the fan art stuff the way they do now.
Yeah, it makes me sad, but I'm glad that they do it why they do it, because it's just, like, fundamentally it's just not doable anymore without just the optics being awful.
Yes, exactly. And also, and this is like one thing I will say about the Adventure Zone, which I've experienced entirely through secondhand sources. The rule they had about not trauma dumping during live episodes.
Yes.
That's one good thing that Critical Role also needs to adapt.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
I mean, we've seen this a few episodes ago when, like, critters were sent in video clips of how much this 20 episodes of a show have meant to them. Are you getting a call right now?
No. I just adjusted my seat.
I'm getting a call right now. No. But you heard the beeping?
But yeah, I agree. I think that that would be quite a bum.
Anyways, where were we?
We were talking about the out of game tidbits. I think we still have to say that Sam is not yet at the table.
Oh yeah, Sam is late, and they also kind of rush Matt through his announcements, so it's like, I get the feeling that nowadays, when everyone has like a role to play, it's kind of to avoid this, because Matt is so stressed out being put on the spot.
Yeah, which you can still kind of feel whenever he has to do like 3 ad reads.
And then pick the ones up that Sam just kind of dropped.
Yeah, like, because he didn't do
an actual ad read.
He didn't do an actual ad read, he just sort of did improv theater and not even improv theater anymore. Just theater.
Yeah. Yeah, then there's like some con appearances, and Kid Buzz and Wendy Doodles are present in the studio but not on camera yet. And I pointed out for the second episode in a row that the bottom table looks really fucking crowded.
It does. I wonder if they need a bigger table, or if they get a bigger table after this. Or maybe they don't because they got rid of Orion. Yeah,
but just getting rid of Orion doesn't entirely resolve the problem. I mean, they're going to get an entirely new set over the Christmas break.
Yes, they do. And it's a better set. It's a set I'm much more fond of. Big and wonderful things happened on this set.
Yeah, but we are getting close to good things happening on this set they are on too. So, let's start the episode by saying, where are we at? Where are we at?
Hi, we are, one child abuse and many homoerotic fight scenes later, we are back at Amon. You know Amon, the base of operations we will always return to. And someone from the council personally came over to deliver dinner invitations to all of them. Oh my.
Yeah, and that's basically where we are right now. Everyone was excited to talk to Percy, except for Orion/Tiberius, who just immediately fucks off.
Yes, just not here. But it's everyone downstairs lined up to talk to Percy, and Tiberius somewhere else.
He still, of course, knows any and all information that is passed along during the ensuing conversation right now, but he just has better things to do.
Yes, and then complains about it later that, his stuff didn't get to immediately because it's less important, which I'm sorry to say, my dude. Actually, I'm not sorry to say this. I'm very happy to say this. Yes, it is. It is less important than your stuff. Sorry, your
in
stuff is
his
less important.
no, I think you must be remembering that scene. There is a scene where he's kept quiet about what he's doing because Percy's stuff is more important. And yes, but also it was very disrespectful to just walk away from this plot bit in the first place. But hey, we don't have to care. He's only here for 2 more episodes after this.
Yes.
And you know what? 3 more episodes after this. But we are going to combine 2 of those because fuck off with episode 27.
Fuck the whole way off with episode 27. You do not need us talking for 3 hours about the mirrors.
Nope. But also, before we can get to talk to Percy, the staff has a small concern to raise.
Yes, such as, hey, are you gonna pay us? Are you gonna fucking pay us?
Before you vanish again for an unspecified amount of time?
Yeah. There's one of my favorite sea shanties is Pay Me My Money Down. Because it's literally just the most blunt sea shanty ever. It's there's different genres of sea shanty, but there is one just called the protest song. That's hey, we're fucking pissed and we're gonna mutiny if you don't do anything to change this. And one of those Pay Me My Money Down, which is just the chorus is literally pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me my money down, pay me or go to jail, pay me my money down. Just very bluntly. You have 2 options. You could pay me, or you could go to jail. Which one would you like?
I mean, if you're already out at sea and you you don't pay your people enough, it's also the next time pirates approach you is going to go a certain way.
Yes. It's just the molecule's fucking pissed. You better do something about this.
I mean, this is a much kinder encounter.
Mm-hmm.
But probably because Lena is putting a few filters on it.
Oh yeah, I bet this is why they say Lena, it's very obvious that she's sort of the union rep of just hey guys, the staff's
would you be so kind as to pay us the wages we are owed before you vanish again?
Yeah, and she's also not the only one there. It's very much nice cop, tough cop. It's Lena and what's his name?
I don't know. The guy.
The older man. Yeah, and she's there to be hey, we were thinking, if it's not too much of an ask, could we get money, please? And then he shows up and is okay, we need 100 gold per person, which totals up to about 600, 200 gold for the guards. And have you considered paying us up front if you're going to leave town for another month?
Yeah, I think it is 50 gold for either of them, and then 100 gold per guard, which comes to 600 a month.
Which I personally would be pissed about.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I would protest. I mean, I know the guards are risking their lives and some of them do actually die, but it's not being a cook is any safer in this circumstances.
To be fair, they haven't really encountered anything dangerous yet. They haven't been attacked. The biggest attack on them was Kynan camping.
Yes. And to be fair, they haven't actually been in their place long enough to need very elaborate meals, but still.
I mean, if your cook can whip up an actual feast for 7 people in 15 minutes, she needs a raise.
She needs a big raise. She's got time magic. She's invented Dunamancy.
Yes, this is one of my favorite moments because Vex immediately volunteers to pay for everything from her own personal funds.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Concern is raised, she's we don't have this in the party
you beat
funds.
me to it, and then...
Yeah, the twinsies then go halfsies, which is nice of them, and then also Tiberius pays an entire month on his own, which I think is longer than he will stay on the show, but
And to be fair, I'm pretty sure Tiberius...
He stole that money from the party funds anyways.
Yeah, where do you think he's getting this money from? So, yeah. But yeah, they asked, we're out of money, who's our treasurer? Me, but you bitches keep using our money.
And they do. Boy, do they ever.
Yes.
And then they all form a conga line to find Percy.
Yes, they all... Which leads to another funny scene, because, Vex is obviously the one to, approach him first and be Percy, dear. Hi, Percy. Hi. And then he just looks around and is how many of you are down here?
And the answer is everyone but Tiberius.
Yeah, it's how they sent Lena as the union rep to talk to, the party. the party sent Vex as the union rep to talk to Percy.
I mean, I think they think Keyleth is the person to do so, and she tries, but
No, it's Vex.
Most of this conversation does happen between Vex and Percy.
Yeah, which makes sense. They just have, very, good verbal chemistry. They're great. They're wonderful. Even when they're not explicitly doing a romance, they're just very good at, talking. God, they're good at talking.
What I enjoyed about this scene first is that Keyleth brought up that they never questioned before why he was down in that prison cell, which now implicates all 3 half-elves in having found him there.
Yes.
Canonically.
Could have sworn they were in the Feywild or something in the comics. Mm-hmm. It also is a very funny thing to think of is how they got him out of a prison cell and literally never asked them why. It was like, yeah, cool, whatever, prison cell. Whatever, ACAB, come here. Why do we have 2 co-hosts? We are redundant.
Pardon?
Why is there 2 of us? We could just, Steven Universe fusion into one being.
We're working on it. You can tell I enjoyed the scene because I keep writing down quotes.
It's so tempting to just quote the scene verbally all the way throughout rather than explain it. But as you know, it's very interesting to me, this scene, because essentially what happens, to just summarize, is Percy is telling his backstory that's available in the audio that we get every episode.
Not anymore. We haven't heard it in a while. It hasn't been available in a while. They finally cut it out. It's amazing.
That's true.
Everything flows so much better, but we do know the story already, yes.
Yeah, and he's just talking about how his family was, murdered by the Briarwoods, and how, he saw his family die, or he saw members of his family died, and then escaped, and God, decided to seek vengeance, and attempted to, kill Ripley, and never even got to see her face, was arrested, and prayed to whatever it is he prays to, which is a sentence I love so much.
Which is a line that goes fucking hard.
Yes. And just as God, I love foreshadowing.
He doesn't mention any demon shit yet or anything hinting towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But oof. And also, God, this fucked me up on the rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
When he says, I was asking for a sign, and then there you were.
Yeah. Yeah, the quote, I don't know if we're allowed to use, the Mountain Goat song, it froze me, but, God, I love it. I saw you in the blazing light. I saw you alright. It froze me. Anyway.
Yeah, is it singular or plural you? We don't know for now, but later on it's going to be very much a singular you. And also, to be fair, if somebody walked in with a bear, it would be a fever dream and also a sign. Also, Taliesin's mohawk gets very emotionally disheveled during this scene.
Yeah, he's got very much, emotive hair. It's very fun. I think he's the only person who has, emotive hair, in an anime.
Yeah.
He's also probably running his hands through it a lot. It's what he does. It's a very, Percy verbal tick, of running his hands through his hair.
Yeah. He also reveals the barrels of his gun here, but nobody, what I find telling here is that nobody questions the writing on the barrels, because if you, put this in manually, scratching something into metal is going to look jacked as shit.
Yeah, but, they have a good sense of, just don't ask, it's cool. This is how, why they don't ask immediately, hey, is the empty barrel for you? It's just, it'll give sense of, thematic understanding of, if this is important, it'll come back later.
Yeah, Vox Machina, and in sharing their backstory and trauma, work very much on a need-to-know basis, and, right now, nobody needs to know.
Nobody needs to know. I also want to commend the scene because I think it's, especially compared to future campaigns, less so with campaign 3, but still more. It's really interesting to me with how, campaign 1, one of the really interesting things is how well they deliver on backstory that they know. This happens with both Percy and Grog. These are backstories that they fundamentally know unless they never watched the scene, which never watched the character introduction, which is possible. But these are all things that we know, but are still so emotionally compelling to hear.
Yeah. And also, like, we know these things as facts, but the way it is going to be built upon is, what makes this series so special, really.
Yeah. Like, for example, like, one of the things that I was always really emotionally, like, compelled by, and am still to this day, is how, like, Percy talks about, when this is the audio, it's him just talking about, like, yeah, and then his family died, but this is, like, it's a lot more just, like, you really get a sense of, like, how traumatic it was, and, like, how little he can remember of this, in a way, of just, like, how blurry and confusing it all is, of just, like, he saw bodies, he doesn't know who those bodies really belong to.
There's also this, like, one line when, like, Keyleth presses him on details, and he's like, I was not equipped for torture.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, you really get a sense of just, like, Percy as, like, this confused and, like, traumatized person just kind of acting on, like, barely conscious drives, which, like, really, like, I think tells me of sort of, like, why he left, like, why he never turned back and tried to get, like, see if Cass was alive. Like, it's because you don't think about those things when you're trying to survive, when you're just acting on, like,
this also kind of explains why he never tried to, like, he mentions that there's other family branches that are not his father's branch, but you'd think that once these family branches hear about, the DeRollo Whitestone branch died out, but now they have left like a city wide open. Why don't we press our claims there? On one hand, you kind of feel like the Briarwoods kept the news very locked up tight. That's kind of why all of this is happening. And on the other hand, Percy also was, like, kind of too busy dealing with his own shit to set any of this in motion.
Yeah, like, he talks about how he could have come back at any time, but he didn't, just because he was scared. And, like, I don't know, it's all very compelling, and, like, you can tell that it's also, like, really working for the party as well. Like, it's working for the cast.
Yeah, and that leads, of course, to, like, what might be the first actual, deeply cutting emotional moment, which is when Percy says you don't have to get involved with this, and then Vex goes, oh, we are so involved in this, and then Taliesin looks like ready to cry.
Yeah, and, like, the party backs him up on in a very sweet way, but, like, in their own, unique way, where, like, Grog is like, of course we do, you want him dead, which is very funny, but then Vex is like, we've got your back,
This is also one of those scenes where you can tell that Grog has a disturbing amount of emotional intelligence.
Yeah. This is, like, I always say, like, one of my favorite things is how Percy, later in the campaign, realizes of all the men in the party, he weirdly gets along with Grog best. And I'm including Tyrion in this.
Pardon?
I'm including Terry in this. I do think Terry is his best friend, but, like, he gets along with Grog best.
Yeah,
they just get each other.
Gets Grog. There's the strong implication that Grog reminds him of his oldest brother, and there's a...
Which, wow, says a lot about Julius.
It does. And, also, I think this is in a weird way, an instance of kind of trauma recognizing trauma.
Yeah, they both have family trauma. They both were kind of kicked out of a place they called home.
Yeah, and, like, yeah. Also, just Grog has these moments of wisdom and emotional intelligence, and I think that's
not recognized enough, yes.
Yeah. Including, by the way, by the people writing him in other stuff. We can't really talk shit about about season 2 yet, but
yeah, but no, I agree. I know what you mean. I also think that it's very fun in the ways in which, like, Grog respects and approves of Percy in the same way that he respects and approves of Vex because he saw her titties.
True.
You showed me your boobs. I now trust you with my life, and it's just like, I saw you commit horrible violence that impressed me immediately. I now trust you with my life. It's all the same to Grog. Horrible violence and boobs.
I mean, they then have like a first half of a strategy meeting regarding the Briarwoods dinner at the end of a week. They're going to have a second part of this later.
I also, by the way, just want to say, like, I really like Keyleth, even when you disagree with her, is very compelling.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like how she pushes Percy on this. Like, she just wants to know what Percy wants. Not, like, she's not interested in knowing, like, and, like, people, like, the other party kind of makes fun of her about this because she sounds kind of, like, bloodthirsty. But I think this is actually, like, a genuinely good tack to take of just, like, I don't want to hear about, like, which is the ethical thing to do. Or what we should do. I just want to know, what's your end game? What do you want?
Yeah, it's a bit of a therapy approach to this, but also it's a legitimate question to ask. And Percy isn't even sure whether he wants vengeance. Like, I don't think he's sure of that until the very end, even after he's done it. No, he doesn't. He literally talks to a demon about it.
It's really impressive that she just, like, from the first, like, time that he says this, just immediately presses, like, right on the thing to press on.
Yeah. So meanwhile, they have the first half of the strategy meeting, and the plans they come up with here very shortly kind of resemble what they do later on, and they very quickly come to the realization that walking Percy in there undisguised where the Briarwoods might recognize him, not a good idea. So they turn him into Vex, and then Vex gets to stealth.
Yeah, this reminds me of, like, you know the movie The Martian?
Is that the one... Isn't that just Matt Damon on a space station?
Yes. As far as I understand, because I never actually read the book The Martian, but there's this really interesting thing where, like, in the movie, it concludes, spoilers for The Martian, it concludes with him, like, basically shooting off from the palms of his hands like Iron Man, and his justification of this is, like, it would be really cool if I could jet in space like Iron Man. I know that it's risky, but I really want to do it. And in the book, as far as I understand, he proposes this, but they're like, no, that's stupid, don't do that, and they do something else. Which is really funny, because I feel like that's exactly what happened with, like, if you compare this versus what happened in the cartoon, because it's like, they're talking about it, and they're like, actually, it's probably a bad idea to send Percy in undisguised. And also they ask Percy, hey, do you think you can control yourself if you see the Briarwoods? And he's like, yeah, I can control myself if I see the Briarwoods. And these are like...
spoiler alert, he does. Because he was raised for this. He's a society boy.
Yes, also, this is where, like, Percy's, like, weird freezing thing whenever he sees the source of his trauma actually plays off very well. Like, he's just, like, very calm. He's got a bit of a 1,000-yard stare, but he's just, you know, he's dealing with it. He's defaulted to the fancy boy.
We'll get to that when we get to it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it reminds me of that. Just, like, you can literally, like, watch one-to-one between the cartoon of all the things that they say don't do.
And, well, then the conversation was a little bit sidetracked by Grog stealing from a crying man.
Which Taliesin immediately gets him back for.
It's, this is, like... This builds the tension that's going to boil over in episode 40, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. They're very competitive.
And it's just... It is, they're very competitive, and also, like, I love the bit where, Percy tells Grog to put his hands in water, and then, without missing a beat, says, oh, that makes it worse.
Yeah. Put your hands in water. That's gonna make it worse. Okay.
Yeah. And then we come to the part where, that I think you might have misremembered. Because somebody asks, hey, what is Tiberius doing? To which Marisha answers, I don't know, because in typical Tiberius fashion he went off without saying anything, and then Orion tries to justify this that he didn't say anything, because this was more important minus secondary. But like, yes!
In just the most bitchy little way.
Yes, he is technically correct here, but the fact that he is like, mine is important enough to not participate in the plot right now is already part of the problem.
Yes. God, it's such a... I hate this. But yeah, his stupid thing is just he's going to do customer service. He's not going to do customer service. He's going to be subjected to customer service, which he deserves.
Oh, yeah, no, he does fully deserve the very awful customer service experience he gets.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically just, people call this like his shining moment, when he just introduces himself to 3 different guys to try and get like a call and the sigil towards Crackhammer, and fails, and then has to fly back and forth.
Responsible, I guess, in the sense that, like, somebody should really be getting the money, but, like, God, this is like, takes, like, 2 hours, and it doesn't need to take 2 hours.
Yeah, and, like, it goes nowhere, and they could have gotten there with, the later Gilmore encounter, too.
Yes.
I guess that it's funny, especially when you relate to calling, like, your phone company or whatever. But, like, this is a way to kill the... I mean, okay, the way this episode is structured kind of kills the tension dead in the middle, because we go from Percy's very emotional story involving most of the party and setting up the plot to 2.5 hours of this 4-hour episode being about side quests and training montages. And then we go back to the extremely, extremely exciting, intense finale of the episode. So
yeah, the actual good part.
Yeah, so let's just rush through the training montage. So we already covered Tiberius trying to get them transportation and failing miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to Vax, Gillis, and Scanlan visiting Gilmore.
Mm-hmm. Vax.
Who is originally not in-house, but once Sherry tells him that Vox Machina is there, he just bamfs in immediately.
Yes. He wants, the poor man wants dick so badly.
Testicle advantage or something.
Mm-hmm. In this episode, yeah. The testicle advantage.
Yeah, that's just, then he has a very awkward date with Vax.
Mm-hmm. Which ends up being Vax kind of trauma dumping.
Yeah, that's essentially what it turns into. Like, this should have been, like, a really, really red flag for Gilmore, but, there's a reason this man is a charisma caster, not intelligence or wisdom.
Yeah, poor Gilmore, who just wanted, like, a nice dinner and, like, maybe a nice hand job at the end. And, like, I don't know, a kiss. And instead
he gets a kiss,
like,
a European-style kiss.
On the cheek. And a little bit on the lip.
By the way, if you're talking about the European style of kissing to greet someone, that's either like 2 or 3 times the air next to your cheeks, or sometimes your cheeks, but like just kind of mashing your faces together like that, very platonically, or just a full-on socialist brother kiss right on the mouth. Yes.
I do variations of all of this with my family. I actually got into, like... Yes, because I have, like, Peruvian... This is a thing that happened very recently when I was in Hanukkah. I was trying to, hug people, and they're like, oh, right, you do kisses on the cheek. And I'm like, yes, I do kisses on the cheek. We're you're Peruvian, too. Kiss me on the cheek, goddammit. I was very insulted by this. They didn't kiss me on the cheek, and I kissed them on the cheek, and I was very insulted. It's 2 kisses on the cheek. God fucking damn it. Hug me like a man.
I think Eastern Europe does it with 3 sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Peruvian is very much like kiss on the cheek, on either cheek at the very least. It's kiss.
I mean,
yes.
I haven't, I think the whole kissing greeting has fallen out of favor with COVID. We haven't done this in a while, but my family now just hugs whenever we meet.
Oh, yeah. Related to that, I was demonstrating to somebody how, the hugging, if somebody hugs me and they keep, their hips responsibly apart, I feel slighted.
Okay, so I should just, when we meet, I should just full hip thrust at you?
Yes! That's how it's like, you know how, a dog, when they want attention, will just sort of lightly tackle you with their hips? Like that. This is how I know you like me. If you're going to, I'm not a huge hugging person, but when I believe that if you're going to hug someone, you need to fucking mean it.
You heard it here first, folks. If you want to show Bal how much you like her, just hump her.
Just tackle me to the ground, it's fine. Do it like a comrade, brother. Are we not comrades? Are we not socialists?
So you want me to read you with a hip thrust and a socialist brother kiss?
Yes, at the very least. So it's about camaraderie. And yes. Anyway, what were we saying?
Nothing at all.
Keyleth wants to get textbooks so she can learn how to do alchemy, which it relates to another subquest that doesn't really lead anywhere because she thinks she can make potions, but then she learns that making potions is actually quite hard.
Yeah, also she kind of insults Sherry and then Scanlan has to fix it for her.
Which is actually a scene that I really like.
Yeah, Sherry being flustered by Scanlan is actually so much fun.
Yeah. Sherry deserves to just, have a little nice, a nice serenade and get all flustered about it.
There's ironically, the song that Scanlan makes up on the spot is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'll send you a video later regarding that. I saw that song performed.
I think I already sent you the video that came in mind for me as a song he could be singing here, but it's German, kinda. It's not German, but it's German.
Mm-hmm. I think Sherry doesn't anticipate how much he likes this.
There's a German band called Modern Talking.
Modern Talking.
Yes, it's they sing in English, but it's bad English. And they have a song called Sherry, Sherry Lady.
Sherry, Sherry Lady. Sherry, she come home tonight. Why don't you? And then she gets flustered and tells him to stop.
If you get to sing, I get to sing.
Sing.
Sherry, Sherry Lady, going through emotion. Love is where you find it. Listen to your heart. Sherry, Sherry Lady, living in devotion. It's always like the first time. Let me take a part. Sherry, Sherry Lady, like there's no tomorrow. Take my heart, don't lose it. Listen to your heart. Sherry, Sherry Lady, to know you is to love you. If you call me baby, I'll be always yours.
Lovely.
Two men sing this with each other.
Yes.
And yes, I got the tone. I got the pitch right.
Wonderful.
I'll send this to you. It's amazing. It's German trash that is recognized as trash. It always comes into my head when Sherry is on screen.
Yes.
Not because she's trash. She's lovely.
She's lovely. She gets very flustered. She doesn't want to stop. And then, I believe, Scanlan says the immortal line of wanting to send the lizard to Dwarf Town.
Yes, which can mean so many things.
And to me, it means some sort of a sexual innuendo that I can't parse.
Yes. Like, what is the lizard in this scenario? It's usually a dick. What is Dwarf Town? Places where it's dark and tight? Okay.
What? Mm-hmm. The place where you don't know the difference between daytime and nighttime.
The place where the sun don't shine?
Yeah, I like that one.
I mean, there's many places in that area where the sun usually doesn't shine unless you're into, tanning these specific parts.
Found the opinion for the episode.
Wonderful. There is also, meanwhile, during this not a date trauma dumping event, Vax delivers the amazing line towards Gilmore that he always promises to follow through.
Is that so?
Can I have that in writing, please?
Is that so?
I mean, Vax and kind of Liam seem very discombobulated during this entire scene. You can kind of tell he wasn't prepared to do the Gilmore thing.
Yes. And he's not quite sure if this wants to be just trauma dumping or the implication that they had sex. He doesn't really know which one he wants.
Yeah. I mean, Scanlan kind of explains it to us when he says that he's still walking normally, so it can't have been that good. Interesting assumptions to make here, by the way, but that's neither here nor there.
Not correct ones.
We will not have this debate.
Mm-hmm.
We will not have this debate.
No.
What I meant to say is that you can sort of make it make sense in that Vex talks about this now when the horn is sealed away somewhere else. But he would still be telling Gilmore that, right? So that would still be like a breach in security. But on the other hand, with as many people as were involved in this entire thing anyways, whatever.
Yeah, you know how, like, conspiracies can't be right because you can never, like, stop, soldiers from telling their girlfriends exactly what happened?
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, like, if there was a secret government controlling the world, there would be so many, like, exotic dancers who know about it.
So many sad dudes would have told women about this to impress them.
Yes. There would be
so many
sex workers worldwide who are just like, oh yeah, I know about the Illuminati. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
So after this, like, the encounter at Gilmore ends basically with Keyleth getting the books she wanted and Vax buying 3 enchanted daggers.
And also immediately after this, like, Gilmore, like, seems exhausted by having had, like, being an emotional body pillow. He seems exhausted, and then the Vax starts talking about business, and he immediately gets rejuvenated and starts, okay, but just so you know, we flirted with the line of credit before.
Yeah, there's something kind of sad about the fact that Gilmore was already exhausted, then got trauma dumped on, and so much that talking about business is actually rejuvenating to him.
Yeah, though to be fair, I think talking about business is always rejuvenating for Gilmore. He just likes this. This is
true.
This is better than sex for him. But I do think that there's something very sad about him just wanting a nice date, and like instead he just got trauma dumped on, and now he's very tired.
Yeah, he deserves so much better.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Then also what they do get out of this is Gilmore doing Vax a favor and securing them passage via a sigil in the Traverse Junction.
Yeah, and they didn't even need to go through all that fucking stupid. Yes, they didn't
which
need
they're
2
still
hours.
going through because Tiberius is now doesn't even know what kind of artifacts they wanted to get for the Thunderbrand, so he flies, spending a spell slot, flies back home, almost gets shot down by his own guard, then picks up everyone in the dining hall right now with a fly spell, but Grog stays and just stays floating and eating, and then meets the other people, casts fly on them, and we need to use this as a teachable moment to remind him that his circlet that does the concentration thing only lasts for 2 rounds, and he is still protesting this.
Yes.
Like, on the one hand, you'd be like, oh god, did we really need to use this as a teachable moment and the reminder? And on the other hand, yes, we did.
Apparently we do.
Obviously, we did. I'm still having, like, flashbacks to Orion being like, I don't know what spell levels mean a few episodes ago, with, like, this, refuge and audacity kind of shrug, and Matt just breaking.
Just breaking to 1,000 smithereens.
Yeah, well. There's also a cute little moment where Keyleth gets offended by, in not being included in the heaviest hitters.
Yes, which she is. She is the heaviest hitter. But also, they're taking the ones who are, like, best at talking.
Yes. Which
good, because this actually leads to a really fun, Vex thing.
Absolutely. I will also say I was getting nervous during this montage because I was like, oh god, that they're going to need to take Grog with them to Craghammer because he has the bag with the stuff. Why didn't you take him with you here? What is going on? Has anybody thought about this even a little bit? But
it's fine because they don't have the stuff anyway.
Yeah, they don't have the spell slots, so we can do other stuff now. I particularly enjoyed asking Matt for the time, and he's like, oh, it's close to dusk, and like, is that like a fixed time for you?
No.
Like, a time of day, because, to me, when I don't really know the season of anything, close to dusk can mean anything between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Sometimes later, depending on your seasons, but yeah, I would say it's like... I mean, you kind of nailed it on the notes. It is very much like between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. I guess it does matter a little bit more in like the pre-industrial time where it's like the sun's going down.
They should have clock towers donging for every hour.
Mm-hmm. They should. They should have more clock towers. I agree with Percy.
We touched upon this even. Oh, God. I'm sorry. The whole clock tower, I couldn't have asked for a better dream thing, still fucks me the hell up.
Still fucks me the hell up, too. Couldn't have asked for a better dream.
Getting closer. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Tiberius also takes this day to commission the Granny Shredder.
He does, it's the Granny Shredder. And also I love that he's trying so hard not to, like, it's a glaive. It's a fucking glaive. And then he's like, oh, rotating blades. Like, it's just a fucking fancy glaive, okay? Like, I know that you're doing this whole thing just to, you know, get around the restrictions for what kind of weapons a sorcerer can have, but you have a fucking glaive, okay? It's a stick with a thing at the end.
It's actually a stick with many things at the end.
Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say here is that he's like, no, it's a quarterstaff with a thing at the end. Like, I'm sorry, that's a martial weapon. It's like that one character from Dragon Age Inquisition, where she's like, has that one, she's... You know the one I'm talking about who's like, no, I'm not a wizard. Not a mage. This is a bow.
I do know, yes.
And it's like, that's a staff. And it's like, no, it's an elf bow. You don't know the elf bows. They look like this.
But do you see the thing I posted in there? The picture?
Yes, the Naruto screenshot?
Kind of. Like, every time he describes the thing, because it's not just a glaive, it's not just a dagger tied to a stick. It is several daggers, and I think he can throw it?
I guess so, yeah.
And it kind of rotates, so I always, like, pictured it like a windmill shuriken.
Yeah, it is. I guess you're right, it is. How does that thing spin, exactly?
I mean... The character handling
it propeller.
Picture. Yeah,
it looks like
pretty much. Back when Naruto was about weapons and sneaky ninja fights and not about who gets the bestest power up. Anyways, I've had too many Naruto conversations today already. Alright, so after commissioning the Granny Shredder, we follow Vax around stalking the child he abused.
Yes.
Or attempting to.
I will say this actually worked for me this time around. Just like the sadness of it. Realizing just how much he fucked up. I think this worked for me. I think the fact is like, I don't think he has enough moments where he realizes just how badly he fucked up. And like, learning that his dad is just this like abusive asshole. And he lives in kind of a dump. And he very clearly like, is, you know, I was getting the vibes of like, hey, you know what this reminds me of? Your dad.
Yeah, like, something that people told him almost verbatim last episode. Like, everyone else, including fucking Tiberius, was able of reading Kainen and the situation accurately.
Yeah.
But I will say it is it's a little sad, just like, first of all, I think it is also neat to just get like a brief window into regular people's lives here.
People aren't adventurers, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not wild about the fact that Liam also takes this opportunity to establish that dog fights are a thing.
Yeah, that one, I forgot about that. I knew that I was like, oh, I need to take a note of like animal abuse.
Animal abuse!
You remember?
Oh my god!
Yeah, not cool for a Vax not cool of Liam to just be like, hey, you know what this world has? Dog fighting.
Yeah, and also this world has so much more exciting things to have fight.
Yeah, why dogs? Why not wyverns? Though, admittedly,
I mean,
I have a pitch for you.
But why dogs specifically?
I have a new pitch for you.
Oh god.
It is dog fighting, but When they say dog fighting, they mean that there's like a cleric on site and they've given all the dogs magical weapons.
This is
And
horrible.
they're just like casting spells at each other. So basically Pokemon. It's like imagine. I'm not saying that because I don't like, I'm not a huge dog fighting person. But imagine if like you went to a cockfight, right? And the roosters, instead of spurs tied to their feet, had wands that cast spells.
I hope the roosters unionize against the people who make them fight then.
I agree, but I can definitely see that this is certainly much more exciting and seems a little bit more fair.
Honestly, they could have dogfights, but the dogs are both druids.
Yeah. Yeah, they both consented to this. This is actually people who just transformed into dogs and now they're fighting. I agree. I like this better.
Please. Anyway, so he, Vex, stumbles around this man's house. Kynan has left, and then he has a brief conversation with him. He's drunk, and, I question his decision to give him money. Especially, 50 gold is 50 gold, according to the player's handbook, if I recall correctly, is, living, royalty for almost 4 days.
Yeah, this was a hell of a dogfight.
One hell of a dogfight. The father should be seriously concerned what kind of stuff his son is getting up to. I mean, he should be in general. But also, he probably just made a year's worth of wages.
Yes, he did. Oh, and he's gonna blow it all on booze, probably.
Oh yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. And then, after he's giving him the money, Vaxry is about to give him the knives too, but then he's like, he's gonna sell these, and doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hand drunk people weapons in any case. Selling them is one of the... Selling them is one of the better things this man could have done with those enchanted daggers.
Yeah.
Do you think enchanted daggers would actually make the butchering job easier?
Maybe. Maybe he already has enchanted daggers.
Would they be superior cutting knives?
Or maybe they don't blunt. They just stay, they just kind of don't take damage. I also think that, isn't this how 90% of homicides happen?
You give someone a weapon and suddenly someone's dead?
No, this is two drunk people get into an argument, and it just so happens to be that one of them has a weapon.
I don't think most are homicides, but many homicides and also just injuries.
Mm-hmm. It's just drunk people, and then, I have a gun on me. Well,
that's an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not exclusively, but chances of a drunk person having a gun on them around here are a lot lower.
A lot lower, significantly lower.
Not low enough, mind you. Definitely not low enough, but lower.
And we go to break after this.
We do. It's a very, they say it's going to be a strict 5-minute break. It turns out to be a strict 14-minute break.
Yeah.
There's one cringe ad.
Matt has big teacher energy in this. It's we're gonna take 10, it's a strict 5-minute break, and then we'll go right back to the curriculum, because we have a lot to go through.
Yeah, none of that happens. There is one sort of cringe ad, but it has Erika Ishii in it, so that's fine.
Yes. They make everything better.
And then we are just the hole in the wall again.
Yeah.
We can get a really good look at Trinket in the corner, behind the bottom table, so not behind Laura for some reason. He's wearing a dapper little hat, by the way. A dapper little bowler hat.
Yes, and he's all armored up.
Yeah, not right yet. He has the mark above the armor on. It still has to be painted.
Yeah. People make faces at the camera.
Yeah, Travis comes over and just kind of, if you are...
Does his best Brennan Lee Mulligan expression?
Shh, I'm doing a thing.
Okay.
If you support us on Patreon, on the tier that gets you access to our notes, you too can see a lovely screenshot of Travis mugging at the camera during this break. Thank you.
Yeah. So they come back from that strict 14-minute break.
Yep.
Bundles of Kittens, which is a great username, wins something.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And after rolling the beard checks for this week, Grog now grows a beard in color.
Yes, he's got a bit of a ginger beard going on.
He has this going on for, like, a very little bit.
Yeah, and he's so proud of it. He's so happy.
So proud. He's so proud and happy. So, of course, this cannot last.
Yeah.
And the beard is promptly halfway shaved off by Vax.
In a way that I did find very funny, and just like, it's like, I'm not gonna shave the whole thing. Just half.
Yeah. And we see Travis Willingham live on air crush a mechanical pencil.
Yes. It's always very impressive to me, because it does, I always forget how, like, it's not, I've broken a mechanical pencil before, but I've never broken it with one hand.
Okay. I try not to break things.
No, but like they're relatively easy to break. I don't know. I had rage.
I also don't like mechanical pencils and don't use them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you break them, because they're full of rage, because they're annoying and bad. But he just kind of puts his thumb over it and just kind of chokes the life out of it, and it's always
one hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot.
And then Vax and Liam try to be like, but Grog wouldn't know it was me, and like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Literally, who else?
Who else had the balls and
the ability?
Yes. And, he gets the immortal line of like, let's say I don't know. Let's say I assume.
Yeah.
Anyway, we go right back to the fucking Craghammer situation.
Yeah, but now Tiberius takes along Vex, Scanlan, and Grog, which helps. It helps.
Yes, it does, because Grog actually has... It doesn't help them, he has actually the bag of stuff. It also is very funny because, like, they said that they'd come right away, but, like, hey, guess what? They took a night because someone used all his spells. And the person that they were going to visit is now quite upset because he waited all night for them. Not that he has a concept of night.
And now they interrupted his breakfast. Yeah, I mean, the whole Thunderbrand situation is stupid anyways, but it is a little touching moment where they give him back the thing he made for Lorna, his love or something.
Yeah,
but he won't really, like...
This is genuinely very nice storytelling, and I'm very sad that they kind of, like... Ryan kind of ruins this moment for Matt, because it's a very nice storytelling thing.
Yeah. He also tries to get the man to enchant the carpet for them.
Which, wow, actually the man is relatively gracious about this, all things considered. It just explains, I think probably because, Vex is the one to talk to him about this. And she's actually very nice, and she seems quite upset about it. So he just explains to her that, like, well, you've enchanted carpets before, but, like...
Well, Tiberius brings it up and thrusts it into his face and asks him to do so. He then explains that it's going to take an entire year and cost 50,000 gold pieces, and then Vex is very nice about saying no and having a breakdown about it.
Yeah.
And Grog actually comforts her there and is very cute about it.
It is. It's nice.
Yes. They then go on to the Grey Spine dude who, yeah. Like, I don't understand. Did they go out of there with only 18k when 25k were promised?
I think the point is that, like, they don't... I think they said, or, like, they remember it being 30k, but really it was, like, 25k max. Or maybe, like, 25k... as a baseline, but they have no proof, or I don't know. The thing is, eventually they managed to talk him up to 18k. Oh, no, actually, Scanlan does a spell to make him pay up the full 25k, which I don't feel too bad about.
Right! Yeah, no, he was trying to sell them short. And I will say that I don't understand why he asked for scalps, but other body parts don't count.
I guess it's because you can only get, like, one scalp per person, whereas you can get, like, multiple arms and be like, actually, I killed 2 people, look.
But they only had 1 arm.
Yeah, so fundamentally it doesn't really work like that.
It doesn't really matter in this case, but it is very true that they haven't scalped a single thing in the Underdark.
Yes, and this is why in Campaign 2 they're very precise about getting those ears.
Yeah, and the entire hustle they do, everyone crying and Scanlan just on the spot making up that everyone who's not present died and all that. That's actually really good work by everyone.
Yeah, it is very funny though that he's just like, hey, can I get some scalps? And everyone's just like crying, like kids who fell off a bike or kids who forgot their homework at home. It was like,
I think about the carpet and start really crying.
They're all very upset.
And my bear.
It's like, what are your options as an adventurer? Do you make a strong, compelling case? Do you threaten? Do you brainwash? Yes, you do brainwash a bit. But like, or do you just start crying on the spot? Just, but we and you know what? Crying works.
I mean, the suggestion spell works. But yeah, crying was a good effort. Alright, we then, return to... we first return to the scene where, Vax and Keyleth are on their first date, and their first date involves prettying up Trinket.
Yes. Keyleth participates. Keyleth participates in this, but there's a lot of...
Vax does ribbons.
He does ribbons. And he feeds him chocolate.
Yeah, and there's this undying moment where Percy comes up for lunch, looks at this and is like, is Trinket comfortable with this?
Oh, of course he's comfortable
bear
with
noises.
This.
I mean, Trinket is probably a little bit annoyed, but ultimately not suffering.
He's not suffering. He's just like a dog getting a bath. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things that happen... I really like how Keyleth just runs off the second Vex gets home.
Yeah, no, not, she's not gonna get the heat for this.
Nope, she's not. Vex isn't that upset, but like...
Yeah. Anyway.
Other things that happen during this is Vex trains Trinket to do the cannonball attack. Tiberius teaches his pseudo-dragon Lockheed to sit and to come and... I have it written down somewhere. He teaches him sit before, and then, hide and something else. Hide and speak. Right. Tiberius picks up the Granny Shredder.
It's the same lady that, Vex had homoerotic moments with.
Oh, yeah. And, Percy builds diplomacy.
Yes, he does. And then he names it diplomacy, and everyone's very impressed.
It is a very good name.
And
there's also, the scene where, Scanlan inspires him with, do you want to build a machine gun?
Oh, yes,
Why, yes, I really do. Which is nice. And then we finally have returned to the premise of the episode with the whole feast thing happening, and them going in with a plan.
And it only took us 3 hours.
Yeah, well, I mean, it only took us 2 hours.
Yes.
Less so, because we record before we start recording.
Correct.
It makes sense.
But yeah, Oh, sorry, hang on.
Stop that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No! And if you yawn, I yawn.
You yawn, I yawn. Ha ha ha, you care about what I have to say.
Fuck off.
It's fine, I also yawn when you yawn.
It's also, by the way, I pronounce my name.
Jana.
Yes. I watched this German Pokemon streamer whose name is Jan, and he always is just say Jan. It's close enough.
Jana.
It's a nice and open R.
Jana.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't actually mispronounce my name. This was more for other people, because especially English-speaking people don't understand that everyone else does vowels differently, and also that J's can be soft.
So soft. Soft. Speaking of soft.
Yeah, they run up to the castle, everyone wearing finery, more or less. Vax has a plan to be invisible, and actually manages to get it extended after they stand around for an hour. Percy is wearing a disguise to look like Vax, and is like arm in arm with Vex, so they look like twinsies, and they call him Vaxy.
It's a lot.
Which, fun. Seeker Zoom gives him the quest text, which would have made episode 3 of Legend of Vox Machina so much less painful.
Yes.
I mean, he figures out that Vax is actually Percy, and then says to Vax specifically to find him, something that Liam just completely and entirely forgets.
Yeah. God, Seeker seems great. I wish he had more of a presence. But yes. Just immediately cocks it, tells him to go spy, and then they have a nice little dinner with Vex and Percy just sort of,
being so smart.
There's also, I don't want to talk too much about Ryan, but there's a scene when she tries to sit at the head of the table, and then everyone's like, no. Get down from there.
Yeah,
That's
Ryan
for the
has
king.
like 2 moments with Laura here, and one where he tries to set up a double date with Grog and Kima, forgetting that Kima is a continent away.
And also a
Laura
lesbian.
kind of... Yeah, and I will say that Matt's awkward, kind of panicking laughter of Allura deflecting this hits extremely close to home.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she actually offers a tea date to him afterwards doesn't, that is weird and no, but his entire reaction before that is very on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also will say that you can tell that Orion wanted to, roll for successfully flirting, and Matt is nope.
That's not how it works. If you want, because he just says, I flirt with Allura, and it's like, okay, cool. Flirt with her then. How? Seduce me. Woo me.
If you want to seduce someone during a D&D game, don't be a coward. Seduce your DM.
You can't just be like, I wrote the flirt. No. You want to flirt with Allura? Flirt. And, he's giving him softball stuff. Allura likes him. For some reason. Because her taste in men is awful.
For some inexplicable reason.
Anyway, while this is happening, Scanlan is pretty clever and asks about his father's friend?
We are way not there yet.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I will point this out later on, but we are still in the pre-game session because for some reason the Briarwoods arrive and then they just stand around for an hour waiting, which is where they also do the smart thing where they
idle animation
Vax's invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone is just having idle animations, conversations. We get Vex and Percy try to catch a glimpse at the Briarwoods to read maybe their lips, or Percy tries to find out if he knows anyone in their entourage. He kind of, one dude is familiar, but not really. Vex can't really see anything they say. We get another... what I found interesting is that Marisha asks if anyone from the council members that shows up looks like they're acting shifty. And Matt doesn't confirm or deny, but the first person he mentions is Daxio.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't notice that.
Yep. There's also a relatable part where
person.
Yep. There's also a relatable part where Topher just does not want to be here and doesn't want to be wearing finery.
Yeah, I really like Topher. She's very bush. She's wearing what isn't a suit, it isn't a dress, and it's just sort of nice. So sort of nice robes. I'm imagining as an equivalent, I know this is probably isn't it, but I'm imagining it as very similar to the wizard tracksuit.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Sam commits to a bit of being shoulders below the table for the entirety of this dinner.
It's a little funny. It's very fantasy racist, but it is a little funny.
Yeah, it is.
You have a booster seat for him.
They do have a booster seat, but apparently it doesn't do much.
Yeah.
There are introductions of everyone, and what stuck out to me is the weird ways in which Vox Machina is described. I mean, particularly they're called Vex, a half-elven maiden.
Yeah.
Which...
It's also fun how they don't have any titles. They're just sort of favorites. So it's this is the defense, and this is commerce, and here's my advisor, Allura, and this is Vox Machina. We love them.
These are the Blobos from my last assassination attempt.
These are my Blobos. I love them. And then he walks around and he kisses all of them on the mouth.
He doesn't actually, but he should
No,
have.
he doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it is very funny. They're introduced in odd ways.
I will say that the whole way this is phrased, it is very weird that only Seeker assumes like something isn't right about this whole bridge deal.
Yeah. Like, the bridge
Because,
deal
like,
just is objectively shady.
It is. It is. I mean, on one hand, if it's possible and easy to build a bridge over there, why haven't you done it like centuries ago?
Yeah,
on
why
the
isn't
other
there a
hand,
natural bridge?
like, have you seen any actual paperwork from actual Wildmount about this? Because from what I hear, it's just like the Briarwood saying they have it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is how, like, the London Bridge got sold to Arizona.
What?
The London Bridge is in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
It got sold as kind of like a scam. It's like, you want the London Bridge? Here you go. And it just is in Arizona.
Cool.
But yeah, it seems it's very scammy. It's very fishy. They've named it after, like,
Uriel, yes.
Uriel, yes.
Which, laying it on way too thick.
Way too thick. Also not beating the affair allegations.
What? Oh.
You know how, like, in the Legend of Vox Machina, it kind of looks like Sovereign Uriel is having an affair with the Briarwoods?
I haven't heard that one before, but I can see why you would think that.
Yeah, he's never beating the affair allegations. Doesn't need to worry about that, but, like, oh boy. Oh, they named the bridge after you? Cool. So you're sleeping with them, right?
The true question is with which one of them he's sleeping with.
Oh, both. They're a package deal.
I mean, yes, obviously both. But, yeah, then, this is another one of my favorite Vex moments.
Uh-huh.
When she, like, Vex is so good at this whole dinner stuff. She, compliments Delilah on her dress. Says it's not a style she's used to. And this leads to her just being like, making superficial conversation about, oh, where are you from? What's your story? Where's this dress from? So she both starts a very pleasant civil conversation and making herself sound extremely unthreatening because she cares about fashion. And she's just such a pro at this, and she keeps this up this light-hearted conversational tone, even though people around her are kind of trying to make it awkward. Percy isn't that good at it, but he's doing fine. She keeps this up to when in the end she offers to show the Briarwoods the town the next day. They actually say yes and no one sees anything wrong with this?
Yeah.
Oh hey, you're an anonymous Nyan Cat.
Yay! But yeah, I agree. It's just,
She's so good. She is so good.
She's
meanwhile,
this is exactly what, like,
she's not doing it alone.
Yeah, she's not doing this alone, but it's very much the kind of situation, like, why she doesn't get asked to roll for these things, because, like, she's just doing it. She's just doing it so naturally.
Yeah. I mean, Laura has a thing where she does things so naturally, Matt doesn't even realize he should ask her to roll for something because she's passing the check on him.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be, like, you just don't think that you need to ask her to think, because she's just, like, naturally getting the information, and you're just like, oh, fuck, it worked. She's baiting me. I'm being interrogated.
Yep,
like
yep.
I think we've mentioned this 10,000 times, but, like, when she gets a good deal, she makes you happy to have given her the deal.
Which is what Laura just does in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you tried to mention before that Scanlan is also being very smart, and it's like, oh, my father is a doctor, and he had a friend. Do you know this friend? Yes, Scanlan is smart. Scanlan gets them to mention Ripley.
Yes, he does. Followed by immediately, them talking about sort of this is how we took over the family. Oh, it's so sad. They came to visit us. Their car broke down, and we hosted them. And then, their children, and they're laying it on very thick, the Briarwoods. And Taliesin proposes a toast.
Yeah, like, Percy asks hard-hitting questions here, and then he does propose this toast. To gracious hosts.
To gracious hosts. God, I love him.
And, like, Yeah, he is like bringing the mood down by being very intense about it, but he is being composed. And I will say that this right here is actually the point where the genre shifts, both here in the source material and also in the Legend of Vox Machina adaptation, because this is where we go into the real gothic horror, tense, lurking stuff, right?
Yes, I agree.
Like, the tension is that there's tension in the first place, and it's this like sneaking, freaky, creepy stuff just under the surface, but you can't address it directly because you're kind of trapped in this social situation, which is a special genre of horror. Whereas in The Legend of Vox Machina, everyone is busy fucking around and doing funny stuff and being stupid.
And you'll note that, Scanlan is actually being smart and playing the game and not jumping on the table and singing a song about his anal beads.
Yes. And Grog is keeping his mouth shut. This isn't for him.
Because he's a good boy. I will also say this.
Yes.
Percy is being very intense, but he's also masquerading as Vax. And Vax, this is fully in character as Vax. Vax would be this intense.
Yeah, being randomly weirdly intense about things you don't understand why would be intense about them is very Vax.
Yeah, he's being very in character. I don't think he's intentionally being in character as Vax, but this is fully Vax behavior. Vax would say exactly this. Just weirdly intense about weird things.
Yeah, and just...
They're like, what?
And then Keyleth gets involved, and she's a little blunt about it, but I mean, that's just kind of, it's, not everyone can be smooth, and her point is also very good. Like, if the entire family you're taking over allegedly died from some sort of disease in their castle, how are you comfortable living in that castle?
Yeah, like, maybe there's a disease there. Hey, did you burn all their blankets? Did you, get rid of all their clothes?
Yeah, who knows? It is, it is also just weird to me that Vox Machina are the only ones pushing back on this story. But then again, I guess Allura is too polite, Topher doesn't care, Assume isn't here, Daxio is under their spell. Well, Daxio is working with them, Uriel is under their spell, and Uriel's wife is not a character until he dies. So hey!
No. Uriel's wife is, I think everyone is either having, their own drama, or they're just I pretend I do not see it. Apparently, as we learn later, Seeker Soup has already sent spies multiple times.
Oh, he mentioned this.
Just and they keep not coming back. So, maybe the other people are suspect, but they're I pretend I do not see it.
Yeah, those spies keep not coming back, and it is getting to be a problem, which is why he is now trying to cooperate with Vox Machina, but Vex completely forgot. Oh, that quest marker timer went off, and I did not see it. Whoopsie.
Oopsie daisy. Can I reload from a previous save? No, you've done too much. Ah, fuck. Ah, well.
Yeah, then the dinner comes to an end, Uriel leaves first, the Briarwoods leave second, everyone, Vex hunters marks Delilah, everyone else is what to do, and then Vex does his best.
Ahead. I just remember something that I thought was cool, which was that the Briarwoods arrive after nightfall. Matt specifies this.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which I thought was a really cool detail, because they don't know they're vampires yet.
Yeah. In this explanation, Taliesin also stresses that they were invited in.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure whether that's a restriction for D&D vampires, but he did point it out specifically, and I'm not entirely sure whether Taliesin knew they were vampires at this point.
Yeah, and I'll also say that this is unrelated, and I don't think Matt knows this, but I did think this is interesting, which is how the Briarwoods kind of arrived to the Dorolo's house is very close to what happened in Carmilla.
In what?
The vampire book Carmilla.
Oh, with the lesbian vampire.
Yeah, it starts with the vampire family arrives when their cart breaks down on the doorstep of the family in a remote part of the country. So they just kind of host them there. And it's this is kind of what happened to the Briarwoods too. Interesting. I don't think this is intentional. I think it's just sort of gothic genre.
Didn't.
It didn't. It didn't happen like this.
None of this happened. Like, if any of this happened, like, Percy would have been a child old enough to remember this.
Yes.
He was like 13 10 years ago. He would have remembered this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, but I did think this was interesting.
The betrayal in the Briarwoods specifically didn't come from the Briarwoods beyond breaking guest right or whatever. Like, those they were just guests that fucked up. The betrayal was Professor Anders, the bard, by the way, letting them in.
Yes.
Explicitly.
Yeah, the betrayal is not, guest right, like you said, it's guest rights, but, like, at the end of the day, Percy's mad about the Briarwoods, but what he's really mad about is the people who betrayed and let the Briarwoods in.
Yes.
That's why he's got the whole,
and people who tortured him personally, and, like, when we get to the Percy and Ripley scenes, there's a tension there.
Yeah, this is why we have the whole, like...
that has implications. We'll get there when we talk about that in detail. Doesn't fit here. Anyways, Vax, meanwhile, is trying his best.
He is. He's trying so hard. He throws a snake at some guards.
And then he knocks the other one out anyways. And then just stumbles dick first into the Briarwoods room.
Yeah. I did like the detail that he's like, is the door locked? And it's like, no, the door's not locked because the guard that you just knocked out was literally, like, holding a key out about to lock it. And then you knocked him out.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I do love how he stumbles in there and is trying to Soriel just have such security, and Delilah just keeps taking off her jewelry, which is very sexy of her.
It's so sexy. It's very much... It's the start of a porno, but evil. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm just a guard here to make some. I'm just a local... Don't mind me, I'm just a bumpkin. I'm just here to... No, come in. Come in. No, sit down. This is very interesting. I'm just gonna sexily take off my jewelry. Yeah, no. What's your name again? You seem very familiar.
You look strangely similar to a gentleman we just had dinner with.
I love
He sure does.
I actually really love Liam's, like, he kind of does this as Orem sometimes. His, like, kind of, like, simpleton voice.
Yes.
Like, you look strangely familiar. And it's like, that's crazy.
I must have one of those faces.
He does sell it very well. It's just that they,
yeah, he does.
saw through all their bullshit because they're immune to all this magic shit.
Yeah, there was this funny conversation where Tiberius was like, oh, no, you need very strong abilities to see through illusions. And then Allura does this immediately, and Assume just sees through them in general, and they're still surprised that the Briarwoods do.
Yeah. There's also a funny comment that I think I saw on the YouTube comments. If I remember it, I'll say what it is, but, like, somebody mentioned how the Briarwoods not only can see that, they can not only see Vax, because at some point he's hiding behind them on the wall and he's invisible and they can very clearly see him. They can also see Percy's disguise. And they can see,
of course,
my favorite, they can see that Grog is wearing a tapestry and that half his beard is shaved off and he kind of drew the other half in.
And clearly, the latter one is absolutely the most disturbing detail.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's an invisible guy who's staring at us from the ceiling like a sleep paralysis demon. That dude is not her brother.
Might just be security.
And, wait, hold on. What is he wearing? What happened to his beard? Wait, okay, I know that we're being interrogated right now, but dear, can you, are you seeing this? Yeah, I'm seeing this. Okay,
And this isn't even like, this technically sets up them being easily startled by the fact that everyone looks like Percy and Cassandra later on.
Including Trinket.
Yeah. Anyways, so Vax gets crowded by the Briarwoods. Has he already said everyone in here looks really attractive?
He might.
Which, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's very sexy. It's very much like I said, it's the intro to a porno. It's just, it's very sexy.
It is.
They're gonna kill him.
It's literally a porn premise.
They're gonna...
Oh, sorry ma'am, just your security fixing something. Do carry on getting undressed in front of me.
And then, don't worry, you look delicious.
Which would have been the perfect words to end this on, but instead we end on everyone yelling, "We have a safe word for a reason!"
That safe word is Jenga. Thank you, Grog.
Thank you, Grog.
Well, what a good... I admit, like, everyone who's like, oh, this scene is very sexy. Like, no, this scene is straight up sexy.
Yeah, no, this could have gone either way, I believe.
Or both. It could have gone with them fucking him and then killing him.
It could have gone every way.
Mm-hmm. I also think it would have been a funnier thing if they'd fucked him and then killed him, because imagine him plummeting through the door, like the window, but he's completely naked.
He still has his dick out.
Still has his dick out. Would have been very funny.
Oh.
Still having this moment of, like, looking back and, like, I see my sister's face, I see Keyleth, but he's just fully naked and has hickeys.
Oh. Hickeys and bite marks.
Hickeys and bite marks, sometimes both. Anyway, and that's where we end the feast. Shall we rate this bad boy?
We do, which, like, gets onto, like, a whole double meaning, because maybe Vax is the feast all along.
Oh, I never thought about that, you clever son of a bitch.
But yeah, so this, didn't take that long, did it?
No, it didn't. I mean, like, without all the faffing about and just kind of skimming over the faffing about, like, it's genuinely, like, there's, like, 2 hours into this which are, like, very streamlined. It's just that they're, like, interrupted.
Yeah.
Like, the whole Briarwood's feast takes less than an hour.
It is literally the last 50 minutes of the episode.
Yeah. I mean, there's even, I think, like, this section was so so easy to adapt to, like, a TV show. It's just, like, it happens quickly. It happens pretty smoothly.
Yeah, this could have been so easy to adapt. Instead, we had to have,
a dance
nothing
number.
but comic relief.
Yeah. But if you want to hear that, you should, listen to our Legend of Vox Machina Season 1 analysis.
You should! It is available in 3 parts on the YouTube, but if you want to listen to the entire, almost 3-hour-long experience uninterrupted, you can also find it on our Patreon.
If you also want to find the outtakes and the parts of that we omitted, because somehow you want even more of that episode, you can find our outtakes also on Patreon.
We ramble about stuff. Yeah. It varies.
Yeah, and
this time we've talked about cat contraception.
Cat contraception is a thing that exists. So, rating?
Rating, right. We now proceed to our last scheduled point for today, the Purvan Scale.
Purvan Scale, a joke that will make sense in... this one was 24, right?
Yeah, so 23 episode? No,
13. 19? Wait, 23... 43.
19
episodes, yeah. We're more than halfway to it.
Huh. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is kind of like how the Orion counter just keeps going down, which is what we have it for, because it keeps going down, but it actually does keep going down. We're almost done.
Yeah. So, the first letter in Purvan stands for pizzazz.
Pizzazz.
I'm kind of reflective about this because I feel like there should be pizzazz, but there isn't that much, is there?
There's Trinket with a bowler head. He gets a point.
He gets a point. But other than that, I can't really think of much. I mean, I like Talisman's hair, but, like, that's not exclusive to this episode.
Yeah. You're correct on that. I can't think of anything else pizzazzy that stood out to me either.
Yeah, so just like a 1.
1 works for me.
Okay.
Alright, the U in Purvan is for uncomfortableness.
I mean, I don't know how problematic it was, but I was uncomfortable during the whole, Orion goes through customer service thing. I was also uncomfortable when he was like, mate, I'm upset when this is not about me.
Yes, but that's not what goes into this category, does it?
No, it's not.
There were some instances of gnome racism, I suppose.
Yeah. This one is weird. I don't think they actually have said anything problematic about sex workers in this one.
No, that's, I think, one line about visiting every brothel anymore, but other than that, nope.
I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. I mean, this is what Victor Hugo did, and he was much beloved by sex workers. Do you know the story? Like, when Victor Hugo died, all of, like, the sex workers in Paris, like, mourned him?
good for him.
Yeah.
And also them.
And also them. Very well-paying customer. Anyway. No, I can't really think. I mean, like, the chemo thing's uncomfortable, but, like, we know that.
Yeah, so do we, like... Does this, like, amount to a point?
Sure, I guess, like, it amounts to a point.
Okay.
-1?
So this amounts to a -1.
Okay, so we're down to 0 again. The R in Purvan stands for role-playing realness.
Yes.
Oh, God.
We have arrived.
We have arrived to the deliciousness. I love. This is part of the thing. I'm like, I was watching this episode and I realized, like, man, I remember most of this. Like, I can kind of remember everything in this episode, except for, like, kind of the middle of it, but, like, how many quotable lines are there?
The beginning and the end.
Yeah, how many quotable lines?
The beginning and the end stick out.
They stick out. And, like, even, I guess, like, I even strongly remember, like, the Sherry and the Gilmore scene very well.
Yes, true. The Sherry scene also sticks out. But I think what is, like, the most, like, for this last conversation at the dinner table, the entire role-playing aspect just kind of vanishes, and it's just Matt as these characters talking to everyone.
Yeah, like, you
and they're so engrossed in everything.
Yeah, you just forget.
It's just,
Like, the scene falls away, the fact that they're on a stream falls away, and they're just the characters. And this also happens, I think, with Percy. Like, when Percy's talking to the cast, and you can tell that he's, like, on the verge of tears, and it's like, everything just falls away, and it's perfect, it's beautiful.
Yeah. This is where it gets good, you guys. We can't stress this enough. We've reached the part where it gets good.
Yeah, so I'm reading, like, a 3, maybe even a 3.5.
I was willing to go towards a 4, so I think we meet us at a 3.5.
3.5. I'm just leaving I'm leaving us some room to grow because, like, we are just starting the Briarwoods camp, the Briarwoods arc. Like,
it is just getting good.
Yeah,
we are now measuring this by Briarwoods arc standards.
Yeah, we need to leave room for some development because, like, we're going to have better moments than this.
There's a scream next episode that's going to blow us out.
Yes. But yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah.
God, the places we will go with this series.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Right, remember, we love this, actually. Oh, this is good. Oh, we love this. This is why I really love rewatching this show, and I've done this before, but just, like, getting to the point where, like, oh, right, this is where I fell in love. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time bitching about things. We spent 3 hours bitching about The Legend of Vox Machina already. But we are doing this because we genuinely, in our personal conversations that we did neither record nor monetize, couldn't stop gushing about this show.
Yeah, just couldn't, and I guess we needed to, like, record this so other people can hear it sometimes, or we'll just keep talking to each other forever. Which is the plan, I think.
Like, this is technically us decluttering our personal conversations.
Yes. This does spark joy. This does spark joy.
Yes, and speaking of sparking joy... and loving this stuff, the V in Purvan is for vexiness.
I'm twinkling like a star on the horizon.
Like, what even? Like, this is like, we get served in both parts of this pun.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We are eating well tonight.
We're eating so well.
I still need to eat dinner.
I love the Vex standalone moments. I love her, like, actually getting to like, interrogate Delilah is so good.
Yes! And the way she goes about it, it's so good, it's so smart, you can fucking tell she was born for high society.
She was. God, I'm eating this with a spoon. And the Bersalia moments are like, yes, we arrived, yes, God, fuck, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, what a way to start the year, darling, isn't it?
Yes, God. We've got your back, darling. It's just...
I say after everything that's happened to me in the last week, but you know, beside the point.
Beside the point, just, so wonderful. Yeah, I don't know, what are we thinking?
Like a 4?
Like a 4. I'm okay with that. I feel like this is the one we're gonna peak
Okay.
a little bit. We're probably gonna give, like, 6s and 7s.
Eventually,
Yeah, I'm
maybe.
okay with a 4.
I mean, we can, like, go through the next two pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think also I want to say, like, part of what I love about this is also, it's, like, it's all good Vex moments and no bad Vex moments. Like, there's no moments where, like, Vex gets spurned or neglected.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is true.
After that beautiful gushing, we have A for action. And, I mean...
Not applicable.
Not applicable. There's not action here. I mean,
There's a lot of action, just not in the sense that we use this for.
I mean, I guess you can consider the tinkering to be action, but, like, I don't really think so. And also, I don't have. It's just kind of
not in this way.
Yeah, so
No.
like a 0.
An A.
Yeah, an A, not applicable.
Bringing it home. The N in Purvan is for 9 cents, of which we have, like...
We have some.
A little?
We have some.
Yeah, okay, technically everything Tiberius did in this episode was pure 9 cents, but I feel bad, like, subtracting too many points for it.
I meant actually, even if you ignore the Orion stuff, there's some 9 cents with like, the purchasing things of Gilmore's Glorious Goods. It's kind of 9 centsy. It doesn't reveal anything about the characters. It's just them being dicks to Sherry for no reason. I mean, like, it turns around and it's enjoyable, but, like, we have to be fair about this.
Okay, so what? Negative 1.5?
Negative 1. I'll be generous. I'll be kind.
Negative 1.
Negative 1.
Okay. Which leads us to a final score of 6.5.
Jeez, we love this episode.
We've given higher scores, but we do love this episode. Well, the beginning and end of it.
Yeah, the parts that we don't love are long, but the parts that we love a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the fact we just had a whole breakdown about how, oh god, it's getting good?
It's
getting
so
good!
Okay. You want to do your, hey, Patreon. You can join us, support us.
We've plugged Patreon twice already, but we can go through the entire thing again.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you to Lulafia for her art. The wonderful Lulafia.
The wonderful, wonderful Lulafia.
Thank you to
Current Sun for the music. Thanks to our wonderful patrons who have followed us into this new year. You too can get all the perks we've already mentioned and also a fancy and totally not stupid dragon title if you support us on our Patreon, which you can find in the description or metadata or something or on the Twitter or the Tumblr where we can also find us. You're very smart. You'll figure out where we can put links.
Yeah.
On wherever you're listening to this.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. We believe in you.
Thanks, everyone. We love you. Happy New Year.
Our opinion in this episode is that you should kiss me on the mouth like a comrade, you fucking coward.
And now you all know what to do when you meet Bal.
Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Apparently a little too much, maybe.
Bye.
Bye.